Okay. Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Less Non-Classics. This is episode number 1934 and double shot number 1828. I have two Robin trades. You're thinking two Robin trades? How is that possible? Well, these are two miniseries that came out last year. The other one concluded just this year. First, we have Robins Being Robin. This collects the entire 6-issue miniseries. Yeah, apparently last year was like Year of the Robins because, well, we had like seemed like almost every single person who's been Robin last year had got like a series for themselves. Dick Grayson had his Nightwing book. Damian Wayne got the Robin book. The only one who actually didn't have one last year was Tim Drake. Kind of surprising to say the least. Now, we first start basically recapping in this book. Now, this features all five Robins. Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, Stephanie Brown, and Damian Wayne. They do, in fact, recap exactly how they all became Robin, the start of it. Of course, also a joke in the book of, like, when Tim's like, code names, please. And Damian's like, yeah, says the guy who calls himself the Drake. Good nod on the Young Justice book by Bendis. Which, yeah, that was kind of a dumb idea. I have no idea why Bendis thought that was a good idea to do. So, they do mention the case of, like, all of them. They first start with Stephanie, who, yes, this is definitely true. She definitely did have the shortest tenure. She said she was Robin for 78 days, though Tim Drake tries to correct her and saying, you're actually Robin for 48 days because you got to spend for 3 weeks. I guess you broke a rule. Though, basically, her being Robin, one thing they do not bring up in here, and thank God the writer Tim Seeley does not bring up, is that her tenure as Robin led to the controversial War Games crossover. I'm not kidding. And the only reason why she became Robin was because Tim Drake decided to retire. Tim simply asked to be Robin. In the case of Jason, he was recruited. They do bring up the fact he had sold the hubcaps off the Batmobile, which, okay, that's partially true per se. He actually sold the tires off the Batmobile. Yeah, I'm not sure why Tim Seeley wrote it that way. He sold the hubcaps, even though he sold the wheels of the Batmobile. In case you're curious where that's from, that is from Batman 402, which was basically was Jason Todd's. Actually, it was 400 and I think it was 406. I think it was, which was the first post-Christ appearance of Jason Todd. Well, the rebooted version of the character, which that was canon for a long time, and then it was questionable was canon when New 52 started, and then Scott Lobdell in 2016 decided to make that official backstory canon. Which, thank you, Lobdell, for doing that. Now, they mentioned the fact that Jason Todd is the only one who actually has died. Well, they bring up he has died once. Of course, they also forget the fact that Damian Wayne has died once. Now, in the case of Dick Grayson, he was simply recruited to be, well, he just became Robin. He's not going to clear per se, though. In the case of how it's been depicted over the years, it's been slight. Of course, we're going to go a little bit of his early times as Robin, because then, of course, we have this other Robin, which was this unknown rogue Robin, which was a woman. Which apparently, of course, Batman's in here, but he's not the start of the series. It's the 5 Robins solving a mystery that apparently involves their first bad guys they fought, which, yeah, this is a bit of a retcon because here's kind of the thing. A lot of time DC would change exactly who would they first fight. In the case of Dick Grayson pre-Flashpoint, aside from Tony Zook, I think the first bad guy fought was maybe Dr. Death. But in the case of Jason Todd, well, they don't have Killer Croc in here, surprisingly. They don't bring up him. I'm trying to think. I think Tim Drake's first one. I think his was a Scarecrow. Stephanie, they don't really say what hers was, but they bring up every single one. Of course, we bring up the Escape Artist. Now, these villains are, from what I can tell, simply made up for this series because I've never heard of these villains before. I read a lot of Robin books, and it's all this big mystery. And of course, you have these 5 working together, and oh, by the way, Damian points out the reason why he became Robin because he was born into it. And he points out that Robins are a training ground to become the future Batman. Or something like that. But here's the thing. Out of all people who basically been Robin, only Dick Grayson is assuming man's a Batman. Jason Todd did briefly assume it during the Battle of the Cowl, but he was an official Batman. But he did briefly assume it. So did Tim Drake in the storyline. But in the case of Stephanie, she can't assume it because she's a woman. She can only be Batwoman. She can't be Batman. Yep. But this miniseries is really good. This whole round robin stuff, and of course Tim Drake gets sort of sacrificed in this series. But this series, despite the whole stuff with Tim Drake, which he gets basically chastised a lot in this miniseries for some reason. Yeah, I have no idea why. But this book is good. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. And you're probably thinking, like, what is Vi Robinson up to since this miniseries wrapped up? Well, Nightwing still has his own book. Jason Todd is in Task Force Z, which I haven't seen any signs of anytime soon. Damian did have an ongoing series, but that's been discontinued after 17 issues, and now he's going to be fighting his father in the Robin vs. Batman series. What about Stephanie? She's basically got a team-up book with Cassandra Cain as the Batgirls. Yep. But this definitely was a really good series. Yep. I thoroughly enjoyed the story for this one. And as far as I can tell, this is actually the first time I can think of that DC's ever done a series where they feature all 5 people who've been Robin team up for a case like this. This, by far, was definitely an original idea. I've never heard of them ever doing this before. Now you're probably thinking, have they team up story with the Superboys? Shockingly, no. As a matter of fact, John Kent and Connor Kent have never done a team up story before that I can think of. Okay. Was one for Supergirls? Nope. I think the reason why for Robin, the reason why they decided to do this. Now, here's the thing. What was an anniversary Robin last year? Let's see. Probably when Dick Grayson first showed up in the comics. I don't think it was his 80th anniversary last year, was it? No, that was actually 2 years ago. My only guess is the reason why I decided to do it last year, and this is my personal guess of the reason for it. The pandemic probably delayed it. Yes, that's probably the reason why that happened. That is my only guess of the reason why. Now here's the thing. Dame first showed up in 2006. Stephanie Brown became Robin in 2004. Tim Drake became Robin in 1990. Jason Todd, he became Robin in 1983. Who became Robin in 1983, December 1983. And Dick Grayson, of course, was 1940. Yeah. It could have been a variety of reasons why in the world they decided to do this miniseries at that point last year. I mean, you would think the best time to do it would probably be 2020, being the 80th anniversary of Dick Grayson. But no, the miniseries was not released then. They said released the following year. I don't know what the reason for it was. And this wasn't the only Robin miniseries we had last year. We also had this one, Robin and Batman, which kind of detail, you probably think, okay, now this is focused on Dick Grayson's time as Robin, but it's another miniseries kind of focused on his early days as Robin. I would say within definitely the first year. I mean, does it retcon Robin year one? I don't think it does. Not that I can think of. They do have one Batman villain that's in this miniseries, and that's Killer Croc. A character who I should point out, though, a lot of the time when he's been depicted, Killer Croc has no history with Dick Grayson. He is more in line with Jason Todd than he does with Dick Grayson. By the way, in case you're curious, though, who wrote this miniseries? Jeff Lemire, which, unlike Tim Seeley, who does have history writing one of the Robins, Dick Grayson, Jeff Lemire, I don't think he does. My only guess is because he probably is a big fan of Robin. That's probably the reason why. And this is quite interesting. They call this book Robin and Batman. My only guess is they put the Batman name on there just so it can sell, because call it simply Robin They probably did that in my personal theory, so avoid confusion with the Robin solo book that was publishing last year. The end of this year after 17 issues. That's my personal guess. And here's a shocker for you: it only lasted 3 issues compared to the Robin, which was 6. And this book came out once every 2 months, which, yeah, I thought that was kind of weird too. Now, this was a 3-issue miniseries. Yes, 3 issues. The artwork is now by Dustin Negan, which the artwork is really good. Now, here's the thing. Now, you probably think, look at the costume. That looks a lot like, mostly put, especially with the boots, it looks a lot like Damian Wayne's first Robin costume. It kind of does. For some reason, Dustin basically confuses Damian's costume for Dick's. And for some reason, they do that for some reason, where they confuse that. Because, well, exception of, like, you look at this outfit, you can tell, like, okay, the tunic, the greased sleeves, the cape, that's all Dick Grayson, but the pants thing and the boots, that's from Damian Wayne. I'm not really sure exactly why I did for. And here's a fun fact, you might be asking, who was the first Robin to wear pants? Tim Drake. Yep, Tim Drake was the very first Robin to wear pants. Because no other Robin ever did before him. Because Jason Todd was simply given Dick Grayson's old costume. They did alter it slightly, but... Now, Dick Grayson doesn't start as Robin in his miniseries. He does Robin a little bit later, where he has sort of fight for it in a way. And as for Batman's costume, appearance-wise, it looks like his post-No Man's Land costume, which was a variant of the year 1. You could also say it's based upon the new Batman Adventures look for the costume. That's my personal guess look they inspired from. And throughout this miniseries, basically, you kind of recounting Dick Grayson's early days as Robin, where he's kind of not only fighting for it, but also, like, and by the way, the costume he wears, he actually made it himself. Though, for some reason, apparently Batman doesn't like that costume, so he gives him a costume that's clearly not a Robin costume. And by the way, here he is in the Robin costume, which that looks like a traditional Robin costume. I mean, it looks good on him. But for some reason, I'm not sure why. Apparently, I don't know if this is the fault of Dustin Negan or Jeff Lemire. For some reason, they want the Robin costume to look like this. Yes. For some reason, he does put it on. Apparently, it was supposed to be given to him for his birthday. Which, okay, I'm not really sure exactly why. And I tend to question, what is wrong with this attire? Yeah, I'm not sure why Jeff Lemire wrote Batman in the way where he rejects the traditional Robin costume in favor for this streamlined version that he basically made for Dick Grayson. Because when you think about the pants, like, that is the traditional Dick Grayson costume. Pretty much it is. I mean, like I said, it looks like Dick Grayson's costume, but the pants thing. And according to Batman, looks silly, so the streamlined look. So, right after he officially becomes officially recognized as Robin, on his birthday, he decides to teleport him up to the Justice League satellite. And this is during the 70s era for some reason, because Hawkman's in the team. Though, for some reason, he meets up with the four teenagers here who become founding members of the Teen Titans. Aqualad, Kid Flash, Wonder Girl, and Speedy. Yep, and for some reason, they give them their 60s look for some reason. And also, like I said, Killer Croc is in here. For some reason, it's probably supposed to recount the Dick Grayson's early days. For some reason, they got cell phones. I have no idea why. And here's Donna Troy in supposedly her first costume. But now in the case of Garth, they actually did get his costume right. Along with Kid Flash. But as for Donna, no, not necessarily. She actually wore shorts when she first showed up. I'm not sure what the artist's obsession is by putting anybody in pants. Yeah, this I thought was kind of weird on Dustin's part. Now, yes, meeting these 5 people is perfectly fine, but having where after Dick Grayson officially becomes Robin to meet the Teen Titans, because the way it's normally been established is that Dick Grayson was acting Robin for some time before he met he met the 5 members of Teen Titans. Here it's like he becomes Robin like the next day. He meets the 5 members of Teen Titans. And apparently he was scouting them for some reason. No idea why, but he was. And basically, in a way, the whole thing was also Batman briefly captured here. They get to a ruined circus, which happened to be the Haley Circus, which I thought that was kind of weird. Why is Haley Circus in ruins for? This makes no freaking sense. I mean, did the death of the Graysons, did they kill their circus? It's not really clear exactly what's going on here when it comes to that. One thing I do appreciate, though, about this miniseries, it does not show the death of the Graysons. Because I think even Jeff Lemire must have realized that, because showing, just like Death of the Waynes, that's been depicted way too much over the years. Way, way too much. And every single Robin retelling of his backstory, we have to keep showing the death of the Graysons. It's becoming a recurring trope of the years. Here they establish his parents are dead. They don't bring the fact that Basugu was involved, but they do establish that the Graysons are dead, which, good part of you, Jeff Lemire, for doing that, because that's something different. It's similar to what they did with the first Spider-Man movie with MCU, because there's been constant depictions of death of Ben Parker. And in that movie, he's already dead. We don't need to constantly keep re-showing over and over and over and over and over again. It becomes tiring after a while. And you gotta appreciate Lemire for basically not showing it. Because if they would show it, they'd probably show it in sort of graphic detail nowadays. With how artists like to draw violence in here. That's just what I think anyways. Though Batman is freed and, well, we started basically Dick Grayson's career as Robin. You could definitely say of the course of this miniseries that we see a period of about a month pass by throughout these 3 issues. It's not terrible. I think it's pretty good. Surprisingly, it's not under the Black Label imprint. Yeah, which I found quite interesting. Yeah, not Black Label, just a Robin miniseries. I give this book a 9.5. I think it's just really, really good. I love it. I thought it was really good. Like I keep saying, did not need to show Death of the Graysons. We already seen it enough. So, high praise to Jeff Lemire for doing that. So, I think that the only thing in particular that you could basically say is points against it is the thing we have to have both Dick Grayson and Donna Troy in pants, which even I agree that was kind of stupid. Showing off Hawkman. Now, Alfred being in this miniseries makes total sense. The only other thing that does not make any sense is Dick Grayson meeting Killer Croc at this point in time. Yeah, I'm thinking, isn't that a bit too early for him to meet Killer Croc? I mean, the first villain he meets of the Batman Rogues Gallery is Killer Croc. When it was established in the Batman Eternal miniseries, it was Scarecrow. Yeah. This could be... Excuse me. This could be just Jeff Lemire's take on the backstory of Dick Grayson. That's possible. But normally what's part of his backstory is Boss Zuko. With the exception of like one time this happened. That was in Batman Forever. When it was Two-Face killed his parents. Unlike in the known common backstory for Dick Grayson, is that Boss Zuko was involved, a known gangster. For some reason, he's not mentioned here. Don't know why. I mean, you could simply say, hey, Boss Zuko was involved with the death of the Graysons. You could say this is like not long after he was kind of becoming Robin. But as for when this took place, per se, during his career, you could say early days. Possibly, yes. Because he's not officially called Robin until his birthday. Now, how Dick Grayson is supposed to be in this miniseries, it depends. Some pick him as 8. Some can pick him as 12. Based on his height, I can believe he's about 12, 13 years old. Because that's what he means Teen Titans. At least we don't have him being Robin at the age of 16. Yeah, I thought that was really stupid on the part of the New 52 writers for doing that. Where, we have to have Dick Grayson because, we have to have established 4 Robins in 5 years and have Dick Grayson be Robin at the age of 16. Really stupid. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. Next up is going to be more Space Sheriff Gavin. Okay, next video. Bye.